welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Coming at you with another edition of Monday Morning News. And in typical Monday Morning News fashion, or I guess even like our game reviews go, we recorded last week's Monday Morning News, and almost immediately after, there was more news to talk about.
Well, that's why they have daily news.
Yeah, I was like,
Shit changes every day.
yeah. If we could record it, Monday morning at like 2 a.m. to get it out, we would. But unfortunately, not now.
Real life does not allot that.
New. So we have some news to talk about, obviously, that we didn't get to cover last week's, and then some news that just came out the last couple days as well. So, So I guess to hop right into it, let's start with what came out right when we wrapped up last week. Stranger Things, one of the most popular TV series, definitely like Netflix's big hit in the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah. Thing's a cash cow.
Oh, yeah. It blew up Metallica even more than Metallica already is.
Yeah,
Introduced Metallica to the next generation.
Yeah, it was kind of double-edged, though, because then there became this little, we need to cancel Metallica wave. Because now you had all these new people being exposed to them, and they did some research on them and found shit they didn't like. But let's be honest, it's Metallica.
I think the net
fuck you.
Yeah, I think the net gain for them was very positive. You can't look at old rock bands and start to go through their actions. Nobody's gonna like what they see from Led Zeppelin and their thoughts on age.
No,
things like that. The old,
but it was funny. But no, it was great for them. But I mean, they're successful with or without Stranger Things. But
it was cool to see them get that little boost. But I think that speaks credit to how popular Stranger Things are. That Metallica is one of the biggest bands ever. And then this TV show, like people were like, "Who is that band?" Like all these young kids. So.
Dude. If they started YouTubing it, like typing in Metallica, they would see the concert footage from Russia where it was like 1.5 million people, you know, freaking helicopters flying over and shit. So yeah, no, it was great for Stranger Things to get them to, because they obviously had to pay for.
Oh yeah, but I just think it speaks huge volumes to their popularity that it's like, oh my God, I didn't think that they would be more popular than Metallica, but it seems so. But nonetheless, so Stranger Things, like I said, one of the biggest TV shows of the last couple of years. They're coming out with a VR experience in 2023, shown from the never before seen eyes of one of the characters. So it'll be interesting to see it. It sounds like this is going to be like a mix of like visual experience with maybe some game things, but it doesn't seem like there's enough out to really comment, but I'm curious how it goes,
There is a lot of hype for it.
Well, it's Stranger Things, like I said.
Yeah. And I think, interestingly enough, like anyone who plays it that hasn't watched Stranger Things will probably watch it before playing it, or they'll play it and be like, well, what was the show really about?
And there's at least going to be a couple.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, there's going to be those couple Stranger Things diehards that are like, there's a VR. I need to get a headset now, And then there's going to be some people that they're going to be like, well, I never watched Stranger Things. And exactly what you said. They're like, maybe they play the experience and then they watch after, or in anticipation, they watch in the lead up. So I think it's definitely beneficial for all.
There'll be a lot of people too who don't like Stranger Things and probably won't play the game. But
Yeah.
I think the more masses will be people. I mean, I'm going to play it.
Yeah, I think VR is it is the perfect medium for these already existing big franchises or big name things to come over. It's like, yeah, if you like something, why wouldn't you want it in VR?
It's good, but you better do it properly.
Yes,
because,
agreed.
You slap your name on some janky, broken product. People, they remember this shit, So it's like, as much as I want to see it done properly and with the right, money being invested in the programming and the graphics and just I want the complete package.
Yeah, like a good example is Twilight Zone VR, which was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if it wasn't, because it has the name Twilight Zone. It's like you expect it to be great.
I think we even kind of said that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely setting up a higher expectation with it. So excited to see that. What's interesting, for the last couple of years, I've seen, maybe the last year, I've seen Netflix really diverting more attention to this like sub branch of theirs of Netflix gaming. And I think that this might be a sign that, maybe they're interested in VR.
Well, they're going in full deep in, so we'll see.
Yeah. So that was exciting news. And then the other piece of news that came out right when we wrapped up last week's episode was, the founder of Oculus, the creator of the original Oculus Rift, Palmer Luckey, kind of a legend in the world of VR, who's now a defense contractor since, leaving Facebook and Oculus. He built, as homage to Sword Art Online, because I guess it was like Sword Art Online Day, and he's a huge fan of it. there's a headset in Sword Art called NerveGear that, kills the user when they die.
Yes, when your avatar dies,
You die.
yeah, your head explodes.
So he created this, he's a defense contractor. Why not? He put 3 explosives in the top of a
Oh yeah,
Oculus
it's
Pro.
gonna blow your freaking head clean off,
But he
shoulder,
wrote
so.
a huge kind of like tongue-in-cheek comical not news, but blog piece on it on his website. And it was very tongue-in-cheek. It was funny. It was trolly. And like he seemed to say that it did work, but it's an art piece hanging in his office as more of just like a philosophical thing.
Oh, dude, it was instant clickbait all over the internet when he posted.
Oh my god!
It
Right
was
away.
all like, not one of them even remotely made reference to the fact of why this was made, and it was more of the get you to click on it by telling you that somebody invented a headset that's going to kill you in real life, and it's like, is this for sale? And but when
Is
I saw
he serious about pursuing it?
when I saw who the info came from, like originally, I was like, I got it, and then did find a couple articles that were legit, but yeah, the internet kind of went freaking weird about it.
Yeah, it was definitely, again, if you go to the actual original blog post, it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's very, it's kind of almost trolly. Not to say that it doesn't actually work, but he's just having fun creating an art piece. But the quotes that were cherry-picked in some of these articles to make it sound like he has some diabolical, psychopathic intention of actually pursuing it to a very serious extent was wild. But that's media.
I will say, though, I was shocked and blown away with the amount of people I saw posting that they would actually try it.
I'm not surprised at all.
So it's like, if there was 100 people that said they try it, you can assume half were just talking shit, keyboard talk.
When the headset's actually in front of them, they're not putting it on.
They're going to be sweating.
Yeah, I'm not playing. I wouldn't use it.
But there would be a percentage of people who would be like, I would try it.
Well, you used the perfect analogy off air earlier. You had said Russian roulette. Like, how many people play Russian roulette? It's like, yeah, people do play that. Why wouldn't they put on?
There's just no statistics on it because it's considered suicide.
Yeah, you tried to look up.
Yeah,
like,
I tried to find the numbers because I was curious. I'm like, well, how many people die a year playing Russian roulette? That'd probably be how many would die with VR head explode.
If anything, Russian roulette, the odds are less on your side because, like, look, it's just you have no input on it. It's at least in a game. It's like if you
know what developer would make a killing though.
Who's that?
I Expect You to Die shell game.
I would not play an escape room
right
in that world. I Expect You to Die. Hell no.
They're probably like, oh, this works perfect for us.
Only,
wiping out generations.
Imagine playing through I Expect You to Die and not dying once on any of the levels. No, there's no way. You're done. Game over.
Well, it was never called I Expect You to Live. It was flat out, you're going to die.
And then...
But no, that was funny news, though.
Yeah, so besides, those 2 news that just dropped, right when we wrapped up last week, that's kind of, filling in from last week into this episode on this week's bit of, I guess, new news. Apple, with their VR headset, we kind of always laugh when we talk about Apple VR, not because when it does come out, it's going to be a bad headset.
It's going to cost as much as a Mercedes.
Yeah, look, the reality is Apple's a great company. It's going to be a high-quality headset, but what the price of this is going to be seems very high, and then if it ever actually does come out...
I'm thinking at this point, probably like 4K.
Yeah, well, now I'm seeing like 2 to 3K, but let's see when it actually comes out. But the latest rumor...
It'll keep you warm.
Now, granted, keep in mind, when I first got into VR, not first got into VR because I was a long-time viewer, but actually owned the Quest, I was seeing articles that the headset was coming next year. It's always coming next year, but it seems like it's getting a little bit louder and maybe a little bit more reliable. And the latest news is that the Apple VR headset is rumored to enter production in March 2023. But, skeptical hippo eyes, I don't know yet. When it's one of those, when I see it, I'll believe it.
Last I knew, was alleged they were only suffering from some minor setbacks. So if they fix these issues, which in turn were really serious, but then who knows? But I mean, what are they putting on the table?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because there's very few Apple products I've ever encountered that are bad.
I mean, let's be honest. If Oculus Meta made a headset that costs $4,000, don't you think it would be freaking amazing?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree.
So that expectation is what's on the table with them doing a headset is like it has to be amazing
And it's
in
not.
all areas, full body, everything, feet, toes,
There's-
hangnails.
I'm very curious when it actually comes to market, and I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong. It's just like you tell me it's coming all the time. It's like crying wolf. I'll believe it when it's actually officially announced.
Yeah, we'll see.
But if it does start,
It's coming sooner or later.
yeah.
So.
At this point, it seems without a doubt that there is a headset being worked on. There's a lot. It's just when. But if it's entering production March 2023, that goes back to what I said a couple months ago, like, wow, 2023 is going to be an intense year for VR headsets.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially, man, now we got news the Quest 3 is coming. I can't wait for 2023 with the VR. So, that's the latest bit of Apple news. And then I guess another thing that kind of dominated the headlines this past week was right fresh to start the week. Meta laid off 13% of their workforce, about 11,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And just, mass layoffs all across the board.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for anybody that's put into that situation. It's my understanding they did get decent packages.
Yeah, nothing ever beats having your job, but I agree.
Yeah.
It seems like the severance package they gave
Something's better than nothing, but theirs was better than most.
Yeah, apparently it was very, very generous.
Usually a company lays you off and, they'll be like, well, go file unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
What do you, I mean, not carry insurance for 6 months or whatever.
Yeah, and I think it was something like 4 months of pay. It's like, it's good stuff. So,
again,
nothing beats actually
correct.
having a job.
And I mean, if there's any light at this, is there's a lot of engineers and such who are now available, and you've got, all these people wanting to put out their headsets. So who better to pick up?
Yeah, it's like, I don't think all 11K of these layoffs came from just the VR field. It was probably all across the board. But I agree, for those ones that did get laid off in the VR industry, it's like, ooh,
yeah,
there's so many companies.
There's an area for you.
Yeah.
The other people that might have a harder struggle because the area of their expertise is an already saturated market.
Mm-hmm. So,
but I do feel for
anybody.
People
11K is a big number. What's interesting is it returned their workforce number to where it was at the start of 2021.
Pre-pandemic.
No,
right?
not even pre-pandemic, just 2021.
Okay.
Zuckerberg put out a big, email and public posts and stuff saying like, hey, I'll take the blame for this because
he owned it.
He goes, and
doesn't make anything better to
No.
11,000 people, but he owned it.
The argument that they gave was that like during the pandemic, and this is true, like tech stocks went obscenely artificially high during the pandemic because everybody was at home using technology all day. Of course, the daily active users is going to go up,
And there was a little bit of money being thrown around to a lot of people. So, and depending on your state, there still is being money thrown around.
And very low interest rates on loans. It was just it was a crazy time. So
it's the perfect storm.
So their stock price was very high, and the amount of users was very high. And Zuckerberg said that he anticipated that even after the pandemic, that it would stay at that high and that they would keep that usage. Which to me, as an outsider, no friggin' way. It makes sense. People go back to work, they're gonna stop using it all.
You hope that you've done everything proper so that you've got that foothold, so that you don't have to backtrack. So I mean, he gambled in it.
Yeah, he goes,
it didn't pay out.
He goes, look, I thought it was gonna stay at the high, so we hired a bunch of people and. It is not,
The biggest talk I see in the VR community is what suffrage is this going to play on
headset and software and who are
but
the people
I haven't
that
heard
got
anything.
cut?
I hear a lot of concern about it, but I haven't heard or read anything that is having an effect on.
Yeah, I think it's one of those remains to be seen. It was definitely, not the most positive news to start the week, definitely, but.
No,
the writing was on the wall too, especially with the stock going down. And man, how cold is the stock market that as soon as they did the layoffs, their stock went up a bit.
Well, I mean, that's the problem with being on the market.
Yeah, it's
you're
ruthless.
It's not really your company anymore.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, like, Facebook gets no good press. It's like they get or Meta, they get dragged through the mud. So it's like, even to the point, all tech companies' stocks could drop, but the articles are going to be about Meta's dropping. Not all everybody else's alphabet.
No, you got to
snaps.
search in Meta will give you the front page news se,
and then you'll see 5 articles down.
If you go to
Inc.
like a business website and look at the overall scheme, then you'll know all the companies that are laying off and their stocks aren't doing great or their stocks are doing good. But Meta, people, People want to hate somebody, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
In the end, there's still a
Makes
revenue.
easy news.
There's still a revenue cow. Their ad revenue is still insane, even if Reality Labs is, taking more money than it's making, it's like they're still making a lot of money in the end, so I think maybe some of these tech article reactions to like their losses and stuff, it's over exaggerated. It's far over exaggerated, but whatever. That's not my field of expertise,
No.
This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in MetaQuest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The MetaQuest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code Ruff Talk VR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered.
Today's episode is sponsored by True Classic. Guys, let's get real for a second. Your significant other will be way less upset about your gaming streak if you're looking fine as hell while you play. Finding that perfect fitting t-shirt can be a terrible experience. The thing is either way too tight, has a case of bacon neck, or is just plain big and boxy. Luckily, True Classic makes quality clothing for every guy. Whether you're on VR, PC, Xbox, PS5, or yes, even the Wii, they've made finding that perfect fit easy with their formula. A closer fit in the arms and chest to show off your muscles. We know you're getting a workout while gaming. Let those toned arms shine. Plus, they leave wiggle room in the torso to keep things cozy. All of their styles are super soft, and it's a great price for what you're getting. So guys, no excuses. Don't be a noob. Get rid of those ratty t-shirts I know that you've been hanging on to for years and get ready to upgrade. We have an exclusive deal for our listeners. We want to hook you up with some True Classic. For a limited time only, get 20% off with the code RuffTalkVR at trueclassic.com. Almost all men's t-shirts are designed to look good on a certain body type. Think skinny models with six-packs or Dscruffles over here. But most of us aren't packing anything but a few beers, and there's nothing wrong with that. My dudes, it's simple. You are wearing the wrong clothes. True Classics tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. You can throw on that True Classic with confidence, knowing they've got your bases covered. True Classic is much more than just a t-shirt company. They have all the menswear staples you could need, from polos and workout shirts with the same flattering fit to boxer briefs that'll keep your boys feeling nice and comfortable. And for any of the big boys out there, they have tall sizing and up to XXL on all their staple colors. True Classic will make you feel your best by accentuating the places the eye goes to first. Wink, wink. Whether you have abs or a delicious, soft, creamy center, their clothes look great on all body types. Skinny guys, big guys, buff guys, gaming guys, True Classic has you covered. Get comfortable, get going, and upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com with the code word RuffTalkVR. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. 100% risk-free guarantee with a 30-day return policy. True Classic. When you look good, you feel good. Hey everyone, welcome to Fresh Ball Fall. It's the season of pumpkin spice and making sure your crotch looks nice. That means sipping cider in the fall breeze and using Manscaped products to trim your balls with ease. That's right, today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, a company here to make sure that your foliage isn't the only thing shedding its excess leaves. Heck, even Mother Nature knows it's time to lose the excess clutter for fall. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR. Whether you're brand new or already with us at Manscaped, you could use the crown jewel of care for your family jewels, the Platinum Package 4.0. With this glorious package, you can align your entire hygiene routine all in one swoop. Inside the 10 Platinum Package is everything you know and love about the Performance Package,
plus some shower goodies included to elevate your grooming game to platinum. The Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer and Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer feature proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to protect your delicate parts and holes. Both are waterproof so you can keep scaping even as the weather's change. In addition to shaving, you can now completely upgrade your shower routine with the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo plus Conditioner. You'll have your skin and hair feeling hydrated and smelling fresh. Don't forget to apply their aluminum-free Ultra Premium deodorant, and don't worry, it's not pumpkin spice, it's a cologne-quality fragrance. But we shouldn't have a signature scent for our pets. Use Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver, Ball Toner to make sure your go-to smell is top shelf and not sweaty balls. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts for their Platinum Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and Shed Travel Bag, both specifically made to hold your goodies. Get the Platinum Package this fall. These products are guaranteed to be hits for your dangly bits. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Ruff Talk VR. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the code Ruff Talk VR. Manscaped, clear out the leaves. It's your tree trunk's time to shine.
So I've talked about it. I'm not like the biggest rhythm game fan. I'll enjoy them. It's never like I hate them. It's just like they're never on my number one list of games to play. I've said it before. I did really enjoy Ragnarok. There's always one exception. I think that's mostly because of soundtrack. And then Unplugged was really cool too. More because of like the novelty hand tracking to it. Like they did. That's probably one of the best hand tracking examples there is. But people love rhythm games. You know, I'm not the majority. Beat Saber is on every headset. Beat Saber comes out. It's the number one selling game. It's like they just dominate. And they just dropped a DLC pack for The Weeknd, who's a very popular artist.
Yep.
Not like not my cup of tea. I listen to like mainly just boring classic rock all day. You know, same 100 albums that have existed for 3 decades.
He's got one song that I like, but if you asked me what the name of it was, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's more just me not being up to date with pop culture and stuff like that. But he's insanely popular, you know. So
Yeah.
back to Beat Saber is just a revenue cash cow. They're so smart going with the pop artists and going with who's ever insanely popular. And boom, we drop a pack. And you can even see people commenting. Like Crispy in our Discord, he's like, well, lost my headset for the weekend. The wife's using Beat Saber. It's
that made me laugh.
Yeah, Beat Saber hits such a market of non-gamers. And that's, I think, a big reason why it's the number one selling.
It's a good workout. If you do it on the harder levels, it's a workout.
I remember when we reviewed it, you really enjoyed Beat Saber.
I love Beat Saber.
Yeah, it's a good game.
The problem I have with it now is like the mix of music is really not
your cup of tea.
Not overall, no. It's like,
but that's okay. I mean,
everybody's got a song that I enjoy. You know, I don't care what genre of music. It's like I'll find something I like, but I'm not necessarily going to pay money to have that one song.
Understandable.
So I just wish there was more like a variety mix of packs.
No,
but there's no shortage of songs. I am not shitting on Beat Saber at all. I love Beat Saber. I love all rhythm games. Ragnarok was freaking awesome.
Ragnarok was really good.
Unplugged was great. So
yeah. So I mean, dude, if you love Beat Saber and
you
you like
one
this
too, that like you seen it?
Oh, I want to check that out. When the composer one,
yep,
where you act like a
music composer,
yeah,
and you can like. It looks like you can cue sections, like instrument sections.
No, we definitely need to try it. I took that as like, you know how not every, but a lot of rhythm games have like some sort of bonus thing you can do. Like Ragnarok had when your thing was filled, you could, hit the drums.
Make your boat go quicker.
Yes. I took it as that was that game's equivalent, but it might just be part of the notes coming down that you have to do that.
I don't know, it looked really cool.
Yeah, that one looked really polished.
There's so many games I want
to
try. I could honestly lock myself in a room for a month and...
Yeah, we often joke about our backlog and our list, but it's just
funny.
It's going more and more and more,
It's not funny.
So, new DLC pack from Beat Saber, that's always big news. Yeah. And then, just because we're on the topic of DLC, a flight game that we really enjoyed, had a great interview with the developer, Chris, Ultrawings 2.
I believe we gave it an 85, did we not?
I'm not saying anything that I don't have written in front of me.
Oh, no, dude, he called out your score.
Yep. Real quick.
I think you said you gave it a 90.
And he goes, no, 85.
No, I think you gave it an 85.
I was like, fucking.
I will say it, though. He was
He's in our Hall of Fame of
Hall of Fame interviews.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other week. There's like those interviews, that really stick out, and
that's the dude we're talking about.
Yeah, Chris is on the Hall of Fame. He
doesn't bullshit.
He plays no games.
Nope. But anyway,
yeah. So they dropped a new DLC pack, adding air races and a new plane. Like that's huge.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's great. I always love when a game like Ultrawings. My impression playing Ultrawings when we reviewed it was like, in terms of content, it's done. Like it was a lot of content.
Yeah, when we had talked to him, he had mentioned there's other stuff he wants to do and work on. So I didn't expect, why bother?
Yeah.
But the dude's gonna be the dude. So,
so yeah, new Ultrawings DLC. If you love that flight game,
love to see what's up with his projects though.
Yeah, I would love to see all the different things that he's working on. I can only imagine.
It's been over a year.
Yeah, he'd definitely be a good one to have back on, especially with this DLC coming out. So curious what else is going on in the world of Ultrawings, especially with all these different headsets coming out. I know Ultrawings was on PlayStation VR. Sorry. So
I
imagine he's going to PlayStation VR too.
He's a good developer. I hope all the developers can pull off going to shit. I'd love to see Pop One jump on the other headsets.
Yeah, it would be.
The community seems small enough that it would make sense to allow it, and it can have the.
I love cross-platform.
Even though they don't say Meta and Pop One, they still say Oculus.
Yeah, that's one of the few remaining. I'm like, damn, and they've had a lot of updates since the Switch went over.
It just makes me smile.
Yeah,
every time I load in, I'm like, oh shit, they don't care. It would take 2 seconds. How many updates have they had since that change? 100?
Nope, still says Oculus from Facebook too.
They just did an update too. There seems to be some mixed reviews on the graphic quality.
Yeah, Pop One is one of those. They're always testing out new things. There's new game modes.
I think they just have a bigger audience than they did, a year and a half ago. So now when they do something and it doesn't necessarily work gangster, everyone, the amount of Pop One groups is ridiculous, dude.
They have a great subreddit. It's a.
I just saw a Pop One wedding. The bride actually made
That's
the
cool.
dudes dress up like. PJ and all
that. That's funny. No, it's got a cult following. And I agree. Some of the Facebook groups and stuff like that, those are some of the better Facebook groups.
Where are the freaking action figures, man?
Why aren't they selling banana plushies? Or like,
why isn't someone just 3D printing? Well, I'm not saying to do that, but why aren't people just making their own and selling it on Etsy and shit?
Yeah, they should be doing stuffed animals of, sodas, of bananas.
I would if you could get little 4-inch or 6-inch figurine.
I'd have a PJ.
I'd have every character.
Bones.
Would be. Yeah. He'd be the one that stood out in front of all the rest, though.
Yeah, no brainer missed merch opportunities from them. On that one.
God, dude, they're sitting on a gold mine.
Absolutely. I'd be all over it. But on the next piece of news, this game Hellsweeper VR, which is an upcoming roguelike game, unfortunately got delayed. It was supposed to come out this year. It's coming out 2023. But I actually was laughing with you off air. I was like, oh my God, we're hitting the point of VR. Like, I feel like I have a major console again. It's like there's hype games that are anticipated, and then they're getting delayed to be done. It's like, I haven't seen this happen in VR yet. This is huge.
Not upset when it seems to be most times when things are delayed, there's like, reasons that would affect the overall gameplay to the developer anyways. So I'm not upset when a game's like, you know what? We're going to take 4 more months, and it's a substantial amount of time whenever it's coming out.
Yeah, I'd prefer always a delay than a buggy game. And I'm joking, like there's been other VR game delays before too. I'm just saying it felt like, oh well, we're in the console world again.
Yeah. No, it's moving, man.
Yeah, we're growing quite a bit. So we got one more piece of news this week and then we can kind of, wrap this baby up.
Okie dokie.
There's a company or an app that just came out called Xstadium. It's a VR sports streaming app to co-watch sports, including NASCAR, tennis, Euro basketball, some European basketball, and then, just so
that's where all the best go. Actually, I'm not going to shit because some of those teams are really good.
Absolutely.
And they snipe players that also wouldn't necessarily be in the NBA. So we'll see.
And some of the best, NBA players come from Europe as well, and then it goes both ways,
Correct.
So I won't hate. It's just, I don't know.
Doing what you love to do. I can't say anything bad about it.
Right. So they also have the UFC name on there, but it's not actual UFC events. It's UFC Fight Pass events.
which is still fine.
Yeah, that crosses over into my other world of, we're big MMA fans. UFC has something called UFC Fight Pass, where they have all the UFC fights that have ever happened you can go watch, which is pretty cool. It's an extensive library. But they have a lot of other small organizations that aren't the UFC.
That they own.
Oh, not that
Or
they
bought
own.
the rights to, right?
Just broadcasting. It'd just be like if ESPN was streaming something. ESPN doesn't own them. They're just showing it. It's literally just like a TV provider type.
Yeah, but there's
situation.
rights and legalities with doing that. So somebody owns something. You can't just go showing other videos.
Yeah, they have a broadcasting agreement with
Yeah.
it. The UFC is acting as ESPN.
But I did thought, well, technically the UFC isn't even, because they're owned by investors now, correct?
Yeah, they're owned by, oh my God, what's their name? But
That's why I said investors, because I'm like,
it
I
was
can't think of it anymore.
WME. Now they're owned by Endeavor.
Yeah.
And WME changed their name to Endeavor.
And there's
Before
a
that, it was
Boat
Zuffa.
ton of people that own that,
Yeah.
I think.
But the Fight Pass orgs on there, they're not necessarily owned by the UFC. No, they're just.
We
they're
each had we shared Fight Pass when it first came out, didn't we? Yeah.
It's a good one. So LFA, which is one of the organizations that the UFC has broadcast rights to on Fight Pass, they're showing a couple LFA events on X Stadium.
Now, my only concern is lag.
Apparently, it's supposed to be super high resolution too, which
That's
to
my
me
only concern.
There has to be some lag. I've yet to do one of these like where there's a good amount of other people and there isn't lag, unless they're just doing private rooms like up to 4 or something like that.
You know what's crazy about the NASCAR one?
What's that?
The in-car cam. So if you're in VR, right, and
I don't know if they have that, but potential of it. That
NASCAR has in-car cams.
That would make so much sense to have a VR cam in there.
Each car has a camera like front, back, inside.
That would make so much sense. It would probably be nausea-inducing.
Well, that
But you
was
wouldn't
one
do
of,
it-
That
you
was
wouldn't
one
do
of
it
my
unless
other
you knew it.
concerns when I heard. I'm like, ooh, that could potentially, if you can especially choose that camera too. Be like, no, I want to be like I'm sitting in the passenger seat.
No.
At 180 miles an hour.
That's potentially really cool. And same with being able to just sit in a good seat for MMA fights, watch some LFA or whatever. And right now there's only LFA, there's no UFC, but they did put in their release that down the line they're going to have pay-per-views and subscriptions, which, people have to survive. But I instantly was like, I wonder if they're going to sell UFC pay-per-views through it as well. Because
I'll tell you right now, price of a pay-per-view is what, $80?
yeah, it's gone up so much since.
And you have to be part of ESPN. I mean, it's like, I fucking love UFC. We've been watching it your whole life. I used to get it on videotape before it was, I think it was a black sleeve, and it would say like banned in 40 countries. It wasn't the UFC technically, but man, they priced me out.
Yeah, no, so it's tough.
And I fucking love the organization, but I live through UFC now by news. Like, or when people are watching pay-per-views and they do the live, like what's going on kind of thing. So I'm like, fuck, man, I'm really hurt about it. It's been over a year like that. So I buy maybe one pay-per-view a year now.
No, that is much different ramp, but I agree. I don't think the pay-per-view model is here to last. There's a lot of countries that don't even do pay-per-view.
No.
Like in Europe, because it just doesn't work.
No.
Like you can't sell them pay-per-views.
Then they
get out of your mind.
They get all emotional when people stream it illegally and they want to crack down. But it's like, I mean, you're not cracking down on people who are making $100,000 a year. You're cracking down on people who can't fucking afford it. And you offer them nothing other than $85 or nothing.
You don't own it. You just watch it once.
Jesus,
the pay-per-view model is tough, and
it hurts. It
in
really
the last
hurts
couple of
bad.
years, it's gone up like $10-$20 per pay-per-view.
It'll be what? So based on that, in 2024, unless something changes, it'll be over $100 to watch a pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, I agree. No disagreements. No disagreements. But
Sucks ass.
I can't see what other pay-per-views would come to it. Like, what else does pay-per-view at this point besides boxing and the UFC?
Well, wrestling.
In wrestling.
But
yeah,
in wrestling's defense, Vince always was smart with those little package plans and shit. So I thought he had worked out something.
I think a couple of years ago they were doing, I don't know if it ended up working.
Yeah, like a nominal flat fee,
I would
which was
play a
affordable.
yeah.
But you got access to all the pay-per-views.
I would pay a flat fee for pay-per-views if it was less than $80 a month. Jeez.
But you know what? You could also go to wrestling for you know, a reasonably priced ticket versus you go to pay UFC price.
I
Very
won't comment on
expensive.
that because I don't know what the cost of a wrestling ticket costs these days. You know, maybe in 2001, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, but they're not, unless you're ringside, you're not paying like fucking $1,000 for a ticket.
Oh, I know plenty of people who have gone to UFC events for 100 to 200. You just don't sit ringside.
Where are they sitting?
Somewhere in the stadium. I don't know. I don't know their
Somewhere-
exact seats. F2,
somewhere-
I don't know.
Somewhere.
Section 30, I don't know.
In the nosebleeds?
Well, you could say this. I'd say that they probably have equivalent ticket sales because they get very similar gate receipts at the end of the day when they do events. It's like very similar gate receipts. They both like break records when they go to stadiums, and it's it. So I imagine that the tickets cost the same, but I can't comment. I don't know what a wrestling ticket costs. And I've seen some UFC events that'll be. It all
Well,
depends on who
I
it
should
is.
disclaimer the wrestling because their events, like they're like WrestleMania and shit. Yeah, they're getting top dollar for these tickets,
Well,
whether
and-
you're
yeah,
sitting nosebleeds
and
or
then
not.
Are you going to compare like an event that's non-televised to a UFC pay-per-view? Or are you
But like a
comparing it to?
SmackDown or a Raw, those tickets aren't ginormously inflated.
I don't know that.
I just think they're. I obviously do. I was an event manager for the event, so
I'm saying 2022. Fuck, man, I don't know. I don't.
trust me, it's affordable. You know, it's not like going to Disney where you can't afford it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really upset about the price of pay-per-views. It just doesn't make sense.
I think that was we got a little definitely sidetracked there, but
I'm
I think
emotional about it.
I think that was the last piece of news for this week. But I know the second we stop recording, you know, 2 more things are going to come out, and
Dude, it's the way it works every week.
it seems like more and more news is coming out.
I've
on Monday morning.
literally gotten home and have you sent me a message sometimes of like, hey, guess what?
I'm pretty confident that happened
I'm
with
like,
the
get
Palmer
the hell
Luckey
out.
thing. You were like, oh, that would have been a great thing to cover.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
So I was like, all right, we'll start this one. We'll go right over the Stranger Things. We'll go right over Palmer Luckey because that's what happened.
Palmer Luckey, you crazy bastard.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't
dude,
ever send me a headset.
he's a dream guest because come on, okay, first off, makes the Oculus when he's a teenager still,
Right.
You know, gets the attention of John Carmack, like all this hype, gets bought by Facebook, you know, has some political outing happen. He gets kicked out of his own company basically in the end, and then goes and becomes a very successful defense contractor.
He's very outspoken, I'll say.
Yeah, so the media really brought him through the ringer
Yeah,
in 2016.
Dragged him through the mud.
There's things that they said that he very adamantly denies, and he will to this day on his Twitter call out the journalists that like, dude, the journalists won't even be talking about him. At him, he'll go, well, based off of him lying about me, guy's a piece of shit. You know? It's like,
Oh, yeah,
dude.
no. You sent me a tweet he did
Yeah.
last. Oh, I was dying.
Yeah.
Absolutely dying.
Yeah,
No,
no.
the guy's, I mean, he cracks me up, but he's just being honest. So,
Yeah, no, I hate to be honest with you. If I got dragged through the media so hard
right.
that the company
then
that
people want to be your friend.
Well, let's be real. Like, he's started Oculus with a couple other people. Facebook buys him. He gets politically outed, you could say, because of like some very smeared, untrue articles. And like in the end, I'm sure he still loves VR. Obviously, he's making this joke headset, you know, the killer one. You know, I'm sure there's that little part of him that still wishes he was part of the company. And it's because of those media smears. So yeah, I would probably never forgive those people.
Well, he's definitely not hurting with his current endeavors in life. So,
No, as a defense contractor,
Right.
while there's war in Europe going, he was- if you-
paycheck's very classified.
you go on his Facebook, his profile picture is him giving a big thumbs up with Zelensky over there, you know, sending his drones to Ukraine.
The drone business is good.
Yeah, I believe when he first started the company, it was like AI powered drones to like deal with the border crisis. And I was like, dude, imagine going across the border and some AI drone is like, well, there's human heat, like, shoots a butterfly net. You know?
Right.
Oh my goodness! But now it seems like that technology is somehow being reworked in Ukraine. I don't know the exact specifics of
they're
what his
shooting
company
out
is.
of it.
Yeah, I haven't paid too much attention to what their current products are, but that's a creative mind right there.
Yeah. He built a head exploding headset. No, I mean, the godfather of the Oculus, right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely a dream guest.
at the end of the day, no matter what he does in the future.
I would love to have him on just to air grievances of those who have wronged him in the media. Like, yo, just bring on a list and tell me Tell me what you want to say.
I would probably die laughing. Though.
I wouldn't be able to breathe. Just based
as
off
serious as it is, you know, because at the end of the day, I mean, he's a great example of what can happen. So,
and there was even some. I think one of the claims that they made that he, pretty sure I said is false, is that he was like funding, like right-wing Donald Trump meme groups and stuff or something like that. And I'm pretty sure he's been like, dude, that was
running his own
false.
troll army.
Yeah, basically a meme farm of right-wing memes. And I don't think that ended up being actually true. Like one of those like greatly exaggerated.
Because he has nothing better to do, right? You know, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, very weird situation. 2016 was an interesting time, and it was like, dude, this guy got outed from his company. Sucks. But
I'd be a little frosty.
And you can hear that tone. Man, I want to find those tweets and reread them again. Oh, so good. But so yeah, I think that about concludes it for this episode. And then we got what I would call a double feature coming on Wednesday. It's a first ever in the Ruff Talk VR world, but you'll see what I mean on Wednesday. It'll be ever more clear.
I'm excited.
Yeah, the double feature, like those old like drive-in movies, you know. All right, you ready? So other than that, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Like always, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. You know, if you enjoyed, go join the Discord, the subreddit, and then we'll check you out on Wednesday with our double feature.
Sweet.
Sweet.